It's me. Audio effect racks. Let's go. This one comes as a request from a viewer, one Vladimir Petrovich, one of my earliest subscribers, aka 8Funk. What's going on, brother? He wrote a note asking, let me read this. I know that I have 8 cents, and that's okay, but is there any chance to do something like this? Let's say I have an audio track with a guitar. And let's say I want to put a reverb on that track, but I need the following. I would like to pan only the reverb to the right side. Let's say that I would like to add EQ only to that reverb. And let's say that I want to add some more effects only to that reverb. How do I make that routing? I'm looking for a solution to avoid the 8 cents, and I actually manipulate the effects on each track. But I lost myself. Each track, I think he got confused here. Basically, he wants to affect only the effect. He wants to affect only the effect. So he wants to take a dry sound. In this case, he mentioned a guitar, add a reverb, and then pan that reverb, affect that reverb with an EQ, with a compressor, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, we can do that. And audio effect racks are the solution. So let's get into it. Real quick, if you could take 1 second and hit that thumbs up button, it really helps us creators out, as you know. You could also hit the subscribe button. That helps me out even more. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Go. Okay, starting here at the mixer with the sends. 8's plenty. I see these effects send slots. Let's try saying that 3 times fast. I see these as places to put effects that affect the overall sound stage, I guess, of the track. So, the room reverb, or the, stuff that you're going to use multiple times, stuff that affects the kind of overall vibe of the track. Delays that you're going to use on multiple tracks because they have the bounce that you want for the track or whatever. Also, if I have any like throws, like a good example, like vocal throws, like the last phrase, they'll sometimes. I'm trying to hold back a burp. Excuse me. The last phrase will throw to a delay and ring out. If you want it to ring out and have an easy setup, put that on a send as well. So then you can just send that one word or phrase and have it delay. Anyway, but let me show you how to set up a send that will meet all of Vladimir's criteria with all the control. So if we go to the rack, I have this, I'll make it like a different color. This guitar loop. And I always have this in my auto load. It's a quick mono switch. But if I were to make a send and I wanted it to have the same control that Vladimir speaks of, I would do it this way. Route the send to an actual mix channel and then route up the return. I usually make them this color, and then you could put a reverb on it. You can put a reverb on it. Right, guitar, verb. So there's the loop, and then of course you just send. Right, to the reverb, and then since I put it on its own track instead of just making an instance of the reverb, I can of course I can pan it, just the reverb, right? And I can also add compression, of course. You know, everything that he mentioned. So that gets you close to what he was asking for, but not quite there. You could also make a parallel channel. That's another way to get close to what he wants. And in the parallel channel, you could put a reverb. On the parallel channel, you could put a reverb. And then, of course, you have all the same functionality as before, except for, you know, the parallel channel is right next to the... I mean, I guess you could just move the other one to be next to it, but you know what I mean. It's not... It doesn't meet its criteria because it takes 2 channels to do it. So he was wondering how to get all that functionality, but then also just still have one fader. Be able to tweak it at the channel. So for him to fully get what he wants, I would set it up like this. I would make an audio effect rack. Those of you who are familiar with Ableton are familiar with this concept. But I'm going to set up an audio effect rack that I can then tap out that will have a bunch of parallel outputs. There we go. Parallels of the same channel that you can then add effects to. So if you weren't watching, I dragged in a Spider audio merger and splitter and a line mixer. And the routing is as such. The master out of the line mixer goes to the from device here. That's right already. And then this, which I always call clean because it's like the clean signal, gets routed out to whatever effect you want. So in this case it was reverb. There we go. I'm going to hold shift so this doesn't auto route. So your clean, these are basically now sends. 1, 2, 3, 4 sends. And if you want more sends, you can hold option and make another one and then just route one of these to it. Okay, and these are basically sends at unity gain. You don't have any control of them, but you send to your reverb and then you return to the mixer. Oh, you need one clean one. Sorry, I skipped ahead a little bit. You need one clean one. So this is your untouched signal, and then everything else is a parallel of it that has been affected. So this one, channel 2, is the signal with reverb, and you want it to be all the way wet, just as the same as any send return setup. So now you can mix the reverb signal in with the dry signal. You can pan it. You can stack as many effects after the reverb as you want, which is awesome. So, you know, here's your compression. Hold. Now, the thing is, when you just drop effects in, they're going to route weird. In this case, it actually worked out because it was going directly under the reverb. But if you dropped one here, like, just sometimes it's just safer to hold shift and route them yourself. And in this case, since it did auto route, I'm going to hold shift, press tab, and we want to put something after the reverb. We want to compress the reverb signal. So that's the last thing before it goes back to returning to the channel, right? You just add it to the chain. The other thing you can do now is you can add more and more parallel channels. I like to this is kind of analogous to tasting your soup and continuing to add spice. With parallel channels, since you aren't affecting the clean channel, you can just add a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So, in this case, we're adding a little bit of reverb, but we can then, the scream is actually like the perfect case for this because it's kind of too intense on its own, I think. So we'll send it some dry and it'll come back. So now you have the clean chain, and then you have a chain with reverb, and now you have a chain with distortion. Turn that click off. Yikes. You get the idea, and you can stack chains, you can stack mixers, go crazy if you want. You just need to send a clean one to it, and then its master would go in to one of these. You see what I'm saying? You could just racks on racks on racks on racks on racks. So did I go too fast? I don't think I did. Let's take it from the top real quick. We have our clean signal. He wants to be able to affect it and then affect that affected signal with other effects or pannings or routings of his choice. But he wants all that to happen on the channel, not go to another, not bust to another channel and blah, blah, blah. So we make an effect rack using these two effects. I'm going to hold shift and just make them. Spider, audio merger and splitter, and then these two utilities, I should say. The line mixer, held shift, you route them up. Don't forget this part. I kind of forget this part sometimes. Boom. This is your clean. You can make as many of these as you like. Oops. Holding the wrong button. Feed them as many times as you like. These are your send. You could even just call it, I guess, send, if you wanted to. Send to. These each send to an effect, except for that one of them sends, one of them needs to come in as the clean. You need, it's not parallel if you don't have the clean signal and the clean signal stays intact. So the clean signal stays intact and you add spice by adding more and more chains. Like, again, his reverb chain. I held shift because I just didn't want it to route, because I also want a compressor to after that reverb, and I'm feeling kind of spicy. I know I'm going to want an Audiomatic transformer on a different chain, and my computer's hanging. There we go. So the routing for the reverb is to go into the reverb, into the compressor, and then we can tweak that in, and then we'll get the Audiomatic, off of the ascend, and then return to another channel. Boom, Audiomatic. This is the channel dynamics, which is the last thing. You could rename this to reverb. Whatever the last thing in the chain is how this gets named on the mixer here. But essentially, this is not a compressor. This is a reverb that happens to have compression on it. So you can obviously use that to name it however you want. You get it. Which is why I end up calling this one clean, because it just makes sense for it to say clean there, or dry. And then each one of these says the effect that is most prominent on it. There you go. So you can mix in flavor, color, depth, I don't know, however you want to call it, to your heart's content. I hope that does it. That one was pretty straightforward. I hope it was all clear for you guys. If not, hit the comment section. That's what it's for. Help each other out, or I'll help you out. I read all the comments. Oh, and this video was Vladimir's idea. You know, he asked me a question, so and that was helpful to have someone ask me a question actually. So please ask away. If you guys have questions, you can ask in the comment section. You can hit me up on Insta, I guess. Yeah, you can hit me up on Insta. Here's my Insta. You can hit me up on Facebook. Yeah. It's hard to come up with ideas for a video, so that would be helpful. And yeah, why not give you what you want? You know? What you want. And you know what I want? Of course you know what I want. I want you to hit the like button. I want you to hit the subscribe button. I want you to give me all my internet points. I think I've earned them. Because it really helps me out. You already know that. So yeah, just hit it. It takes a second. Just hit that at least the like button. Yeah. I have some more videos I'm working on that'll be coming out soon. Really trying to get back on my video game. I got busy working with some production clients, which was cool. But yeah, so expect more, and I'll be seeing you soon. All right.